Video game addiction is becoming a significant but controversial health issue in the digital age. However, the fault is not exactly with games, as all good video games are inherently designed with an addictive gameplay loop that keeps people playing the game. Take a puzzle game such as Peggle for example, where the main gameplay is a cycle of aiming pinballs and observing where they hit. An addictive loop of repeated actions such as this is found in all games, and therefore cannot be the direct cause of addiction. So let's take a look at how Peggle is an example of addictive gameplay, but not video game addiction. But beware of minor spoilers from here on out. The key to a good puzzle game is to have a concept that can be easily learned by players, and Peggle is very simple. You fire a limited number of balls that bounce off pegs, with the goal being to clear specific ones while achieving a high score. The idea for the game was heavily inspired by the popular Japanese pastime of Pachinko. It is essentially a pinball game somewhere between an arcade machine and a slot machine, where getting balls into catchers will result in a form of payout. This vertical style of game is replicated in Peggle but in a simplified form, with the advantage being that it will feel familiar to new players. The appeal of arcade games like these also make Peggle highly accessible to wider gamer audiences. However, Peggle also differentiates itself and keeps things fresh by introducing a variety of new elements throughout the game. The basic form of this is through the arrangement of pegs in the field, which changes, often emulating the background image. In some levels, these pegs also take different shapes and colours. For instance, a peg will change to purple each turn and will grant a large number of points if hit. There are also levels where the pegs will move around the field, adding additional complexity. Hitting green pegs will also activate special powers that are implemented through the Peggle Masters. These various animals and beings give you a unique gameplay ability, and you will eventually develop strategies depending on which master is selected for the level. Some abilities will upgrade your next shots by either giving you an on-screen guide that will show you how your pinball will bounce, or simply preventing it from bouncing off pegs at all. Others instead will explode and light up pegs that are within a certain radius. Different abilities also take inspiration directly from pinball, such as the multi-ball power-up that spawns an additional ball. Flippers on either side of the screen can even be spawned, which you can activate to try to keep your ball in play for longer. The remaining abilities typically increase your chances of receiving an extra ball, and Peggle has several different ways in which you can earn them. The most obvious of these is the ball bucket, which moves across the bottom of the screen and adds a timed aspect. Additional balls can also be gained from getting high scores in a single shot, with up to 3 extra possible at 125,000. The game also has a condolence feature where if you completely miss the pegs, a coin flip will decide whether you get the ball back for free. The good balance of skill and luck in Peggle means that it's an incredibly easy game to pick up and play thanks to its excellent design. It's also so exceptionally unique in the industry that Peggle's gameplay even holds a patent in the United States. Game developers have many different tricks and methods of designing games that are both fun to play and difficult to put down. These techniques form the basis of the infamous compulsion loop, where players are continually motivated to keep playing the game. The loop features 3 elements that result in positive reinforcement. First, the player is presented with anticipation of obtaining a reward, then they are given a challenge to earn it, and then upon completion, they receive the reward with a hit of dopamine. One of the strengths of Peggle is that only a small action on the player's part, simply pressing a button to fire the pinball, has a significant effect. Clearing pegs from the field is incredibly satisfying, and the player will feel highly rewarded, enforcing the loop. Players will additionally feel good about themselves when they pull off a skillful shot, as Peggle awards extra points for certain feats. Some of these include long shots, hitting a lot of orange pegs with one ball, and performing unbelievable slides across pegs. The score also gets higher as the round progresses thanks to the fever meter. This gives generous ×2, ×3, ×5 and finally ×10 multipliers, and makes the player feel like they are getting better with each shot. The game is also clever and still rewards the player even if they make a bad shot. In these cases, the ball is still likely to clear some pegs, and even if it misses them all completely, the second chance coin flip can essentially undo the shot. Things Things will also frequently happen that are more based on luck rather than skill, but these are still rewarded with points. For example, the lucky bounce and kick the bucket style shots are more likely to happen unintentionally. These gameplay features are also complemented by the game's visual and sound design. It uses a lot of bright colours and crazy effects that are similar to those used in arcade games and slot machines that increase the game's excitement. This is especially true of the extreme fever which you get for clearing each level. This replicates the feeling of winning a jackpot with dramatic visuals where the ball explodes into confetti after hitting a bucket. In the end, Peggle constantly rewards you, even for actions that you are not directly in control over. This in turn with the relatively quick rapid fire levels means that you are likely to lose track of time and continue playing more of the game. Peggle is a game that is designed to be addictive with its bright and colourful elements, as well as its gameplay that constantly rewards you for playing. But even with this, it's not going to cause a complicated disorder such as video game addiction without there being other factors at play.